Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the current number one in the world team from Weedle. Weedle, I'm very sorry about that. We're going to take a look here at a very cool team. We're going to have the team of Credilli as lead, the face-up of Primeape. I could see that they maybe were running Ace Punch. I am not too sure about that. And we're going to have Ember Charizard in the back. And for Charizard to hit rank 1 in the world is kind of cool that this happened again. Like, I think maybe it happened maybe even earlier. There was a time where Charizard was actually top meta as well before already, when Wing Attack was still a good move to run, which is not the case at all anymore. But yeah, this is an interesting team, and let's take a look at how this team kind of works. So we're going to have the Primeape here as a face-up, which is now going to be able to pressure the opponent's Stunfisk quite a bit with the close combat, but the opponent actually subs out into the Meowscarada. That does not really work out too well for them, because now we have our own Charizard aligned against them. This is going to be a knockout against the Meowscarada, and we can move on to the next opponent, where the Altaria is going to wait up for us. This is going to be alright for us as well, because we're going to have the Rock Tomb for this Pokemon. And here's where I think that Ice Punch would be kind of cool to have on the Primeape. I just didn't want to get rid of my moveset on the Primeape because I wasn't too sure about what they were running. I could see that Ice Punch is just very good against like those flying type Pokemon that you might be able to bait out. But Close Combat also can help out in matchups, for example, against a Corviknight, you're going to do way more damage. But let's take a look here at the Marowak taking a Grass Knot. I was thinking this is most likely just a debate. I was still going for a shield just in case, because I kind of want to play it safe. But let's see here what the Charizard can do against the Altaria. We're going to have the spam of the Air Cutter. They were running Ember, mainly in order here to deal with the Scissor a little bit better. I expected this already, that this would be an Ember Charizard, as this is going to be so much better against like those weaknesses of the lead there of the Credilli, like the Fortress, you kind of need to have it. Against the Scissor, you kind of need to have it. And here we're going to see already what Charizard can do as well. With the Air Cutter spam, we are going to be able to get rid of the Altaria, which is going to be great. We're going to have an attack boost, and now we're going to have the Air Cutter with buffed Embers going up against the Scissor, allowing us to knock them out without really going, I think, into our Primeape at all in this matchup. And so we're going to see another great lead. We're going to have the Stunfisk coming in. We're going to see the sub out here now into the Togekiss. Against Togekiss, we don't have the best answers here. We're going to have our lead, which is still going to be alright. We're going to shield up a Aura Sphere, because that would do quite a lot of damage. And we can go for the Rock Tomb, which is going to force the opponent to invest a shield here as well, as I'm going to try to catch an Aura Sphere onto my Charizard, which works out perfectly here. As the Aura Sphere is coming through, it's not going to do enough damage to knock us out, and they sub out sadly into the Stunfisk, which is alright though, because we are still going to be able to pressure them with a Blast Burn. At the end of the day, we do need a tiny bit extra damage anyway in order to put them into Grass Knot range, which they are guaranteed in now. But I'm a bit worried about the potential of sweep later on from the opponent's Togekiss, and that's why I decided to overfarm here by a lot. That's why I try to go up to 100 energy with my Pokemon here, because I was thinking a Mud Bomb is going to do less damage than the Aura Sphere they're going to do anyway, and I'd rather keep my energy now for that, as we will see here as well. The opponent is going to go into the Togekiss yet again. We're going to invest a shield. We have the Rock Tomb stored for them, and they sub out into the Torterra. Rock Tomb is coming through. I hope that they decide to use a shield here, but I'm not too sure. But they decide to use a shield, which now allows me to go into my Primeape. We have access to the Close Combat. Ice Punch will have done the same because it's double super effective. But Close Combat is going to be enough to knock them out. And because I perfectly farmed up to the maximum amount of energy, I can still even reach another Rage Twist in order to knock out the opponent. And we can move on until the next one. Let's find out. Oh, we have Tomahawk UK here. I generally lose most of the times against him. Fellow caster for me as well, like shouts to you there, of course. We're going to have here the Greninja against us. That's an alright lead. It's actually not that great. Like, it's honestly not the best lead possible, because, yeah, you have a Grass against the Water type Pokemon, but you saw already on how much Greninja did, and Greninja just generally outspeeds us. Here we see the Clodsire coming in. The team itself can struggle a bit against Clodsire. I decided to use it as a shield here. It's going to be the Stonish coming through as well. And I decided to go up to the maximum kind of amount of energy as well. I could have went for Wycliffe one more, but then I would have just wasted 8 energy there, which would have been a bit annoying. But they decided to invest a shield here themselves. And I expect that they would want to swap out here into their Greninja, where they start up the energy straight away. And that's why I decided to go for a charge move. But weirdly enough, they actually went for the fast move themselves, which I did not expect here. Now knocking out our Credilli, because we don't have any shields left anymore. And now we have to kind of rely on our Primeape, and we see here already we are not going to be able to reach a charge move in time before they can go for another Hydro Cannon. They just played out their Greninja really, really well. We're going to see here now that we're going to be able to get the KO against them, but yeah, there's not a really lot of Pokemon where you still get to a charge move here. It's definitely not going to be against the Florges, and Florges has the coverage against the Charizard here to the point that I have no chance of winning this battle. Good game to you. Yeah, very cool team though. I might even steal your team, I have to see. Because Florges is such an annoying Pokemon to deal with. Florges is really annoying to deal with, as Florges is going to be such a neutral Pokemon. But in this scenario here, it's kind of where I want to see it the most against our Florges, as they're going to swap out now into a Corsola. I will go for the Rock Tomb, because the Rock Tomb now allows me to put them into range for 2 Rage Fist, while also they are not doing a lot of fast move damage anymore against me, which is going to be very important here. Charge move damage is still going to add up quite a bit here, but I am going to invest the shield, because I know I'm gonna most likely get out of here with quite a bit of energy left, as well as, yeah, I have actually another Rage Fist stored, as well as an attack boost onto my Primeape, so I'm quite alright with this scenario. They decide to invest a shield here, which is okay. I can use a shield again, and I will be able to definitely win this matchup as long as they're going to stay in. They don't stay in. They go into the Florges, allowing me to go still for a double boosted Rage Fist. This is going to be enough to get them into farm down range for the asset, which is perfect. And also, the Corsola at this point is so low that a Rock Tomb also would be enough to knock him out. So, I'm not in a bad position here at all. I still have a shield disadvantage, which is kind of annoying. I can overfarm by quite a bit, go for the Rock Tomb now, and I will be able to even Rock Tomb whatever they have in the back most likely in order to drop their attack a bit. And that's going to be a Moltres, and I definitely appreciate this now, because now I can swap out into my Charizard, I can go for the Blast Burn, I should be kind of speeding at the same pace as they go to the Brave Bird, but even if I would have not been able to reach this move in time, I would still have the option to go for a close combat later on with my Primeape, which most I would have done enough damage as well. So, next up, we have a Gastron in the lead. Gastron in the lead is not actually that common, you mainly see that Pokemon in the back, but here's one talking point with this team that I've at least seen that kind of annoyed me, that kind of was making it a bit difficult to run this team sometimes, which is Dusknoir. For whatever reason, I think in half of the battles, at least it felt like this, and around like half of the battles of the ones that I did here with this team, I encountered a Dusknoir against me. And Dusknoir is a ghost type Pokemon that resists acid, that resists the fast move of Primeape, and that has a lot of fast move pressure. That is just very tough to deal with, because we just don't really have a good answer for it. It does too much fast move pressure against our backline, and it has the charge move pressure of Dynamic Punch plus resisting the fast move against our lead. So for this team, the worst possible Pokemon to encounter, in my opinion, is the Shadow Dusknoir. And I encountered this Pokemon, I think, way too often, to the point where I was thinking that's just going to be not showcasing again the actual perfect potential of this team, because we are battling a Pokemon that I usually would never encounter that often. And that is something that definitely you have to kind of keep in mind as well. I don't know how often you are going to encounter Dusknoir. I feel like it's not the most common Pokemon, but I definitely know that I felt like I faced it way too often. And yeah, we're going to be able to go for a Blast Burn here still. And with it, I think we're going to win this battle, because they have nothing that they can do against our Charizard anymore. Alright, Chargabug. This little bug-type Pokemon is going to be quite tricky for this team to deal with. And so I decided to invest a shield early on. Why? Because Credilli is my best answer to this Pokemon, and Credilli has access to the move Rock Tomb, which is going to allow us, of course, to debuff the opponent's attack, but also going to get some nice super effective damage against them. And at this point, I think the Chargabug is in a range where every Pokemon of mine would be able to farm them down with fast moves. In comes the Blastoise. That's not ideal. What am I going to do? I'm going to go for the bait. I hope they shield. They do shield, and now it allows me to go into my Primeape, which can resist the fast move. I can take a charge move, and I have close combat in order to threaten them for the KO. As I let the first move go through, I can reach out for the close combat, hoping that the opponent would no-shield this move. They didn't. And now I try my best to go for another one. As I go for the shield, the opponent overfarmed by quite a bit. They have a bit of energy still stored, but I assume they would go not straight away. But as you can see here, I'm going to be forced now to go for a charge move against the Chargabug, as we're not going to be able to farm down, as they would have farmed us down in time. We're going to try our best. I could just go for a charge move here straight away, but I did not, and I should have just stopped out of here. If I just stopped out of the matchup straight into my Charizard, I would have won this battle straight away here. Because what I would have been able to do is I would have had a close combat then for the Blastoise for later on, and I just don't have that luxury anymore. What I need to do now is I need to try to play it a little bit more tricky. I try to play it here a little bit more advanced. I'm going to try to get myself an attack boost, because I know they would have had already a charge move at this point of time. I was just hoping that I get the attack boost and I can still go for Blast Burn time, but I can't. And now, because my Primeape is gone, I'm going to lose this battle. If I kept my Primeape somehow, I would have won this one. Unfortunate. Could have most likely played it better. But with that, we are going to be able to move on to the next opponent, where we're going to encounter Corviknight. Corviknight is a Pokemon that is quite alright for Elite, is quite alright even for a Say-Up, is quite alright for a Charizard. So it's not the worst Pokemon, it's like literally, Corviknight is kind of the neutral Pokemon. And with that, we are going to be able to utilize the reduced damage of Air Cutter. It still does way too much damage here, by the way. In order to get at least some Rage Twist off now against that Coaster, it's going to be okay for us because I'm kind of low. But yeah, I wanted to go for a close combat against them. Didn't work out. But no, the next Rage Twist is going to actually get no shielded. That's kind of interesting. We can go ahead and go into the Credilli in order to tank the hits. That's what I kind of try to do. I'm not even going to really try to go for a charge move or anything like this. I just want to tank the hits here. I'm going to tank the next hit here as well. I'm going to try to stop out of here. I'm not too sure if it's going to knock me out. It is not going to be enough to knock me out, and so I leave there with a Charge Move Start. They have their own Credilli in the back, and I have zero reason here to not go for a Blast Burn. Literally zero reason, and they decide to let the move go, which now means I win this battle. Good game. There's nothing they can do. I can go for the full farm down here. I don't really care about that they debuff me. It actually helps me out getting more energy, because now I have to still deal with the Corviknight, right? And here's where I make a mistake, because I go for the move here. I didn't need to do this. I could have farmed on the Corsola. I didn't need to go for the energy there. I go for the bait here as well. And yeah, I just mess up big time. I completely mess up big time. I could have farmed on the Corsola and then could have just went for the Air Cutter bait. I would have been fine then. I would have had enough energy because I still had the Rock Tomb there as well. Now I don't have enough energy. And with that, I'm going to lose this battle here, as the opponent is going to be able to reach out for the move. I have to use a shield here. I have to try to reach another move in time. Can I do that? I cannot, and I lose. And I completely threw the battle. But the opponent, I guess, just wanted to give me the win. I appreciate it. Shoutouts to you. And they decided to forfeit there. This, by the way, never happens to me. I think this is the first time that someone gave me a win where I'm close to Legend in literally 3 years or something. So shoutouts to you, I appreciate it. People don't have to do this, by the way. I don't expect anybody to make it easier for me to hit Legend. I've never had that luxury or anything of this. But yeah, shoutouts to you. The thing is, back in the day, it was actually quite common practice for a lot of streamers to get their last bit of Edo by people sniping them and then forfeiting. That was actually way more common back in the day, I think, than this nowadays. But yeah, that is something that I've never done. I've never really tried to do. I don't really see the point of it. If I want to hit Legend, I want to hit Legend because I deserve it. And I was been able to hit Legend like literally every single season. So, like, again, I don't really need it, but still I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate it. Of course, I'm thankful for giving me the extra win there. I'm getting closer, by the way, to Legend. I am now only 100 points away of being Legend. It might be even happening already today, because I still have 6 sets left for the day. I will see what I'm going to try to run. But yeah, as you can see here, there's going to be Togekiss against us in the final battle. And it's all down to Charizard. Can Charizard... Oh, it's not the final battle, it's the second last battle. Can Charizard still win this for us? We will find out shortly as the Pangoro comes in. This is not a bad matchup, but I sure went for my charge move earlier. And as you see as well, they get the boost even with this move, and I just forfeit here. Like, there's nothing I can do. Ferret in the lead. How do we deal with it? I usually just would like to play this matchup out. I think this is my best play of dealing with this Pokemon, because as far as I know is that Credilli wins this in the zero shield scenario, but loses it in any other shield scenario. And with that, we just going to try to play for where we can win here. And so, as you will see, the opponent goes for their charge move, that is fine. The Trailblaze comes through, I can go for the debuff onto them again, either get the KO or I'm going to get the shield. If I get the shield, Primal can kind of sweep a little bit more, but as you can see here, there's going to be the Dusknoir on the back again. Yeah, I didn't actually put in all the battles that I had with this team as well. I had like way more battles as well just done with this. I did like, I think 3 full sets. I went positive with this team, full stop, but could be that even like some of the Dusknoir battles kind of didn't get into it, because honestly, when I played the battle, like this team here, I felt like Dusknoir was on every single team. So yeah, this here I think we only faced like 3 or something so far. So that is still manageable. But again, it's a very tough Pokemon for us to deal with. I don't really have a great answer for it. I am going to be able to get the KO though against them now, which can help us out. I don't think we know the final Pokemon yet. Well, let's see what's going to be. It's going to be the Wigglytuff, and with that, we're going to be able to win the final battle, as this Blast Burn is going to be enough to knock them out. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, shout out to me as well to hit rank 1 in the world, and I will see you then. Bye bye.